Alright, I'm going to put rear pads on this 2000 Pontiac Grand Prix GT. I'll show you how to do the brake rotor too, but I'm just putting pads on it today. Three-quarter 19mm. Before you lift it up, oh holy shit! Oh. Just crack your lug nuts loose. Once you got it up securely on jack stands, you can finish loosening all your lug nuts and then take your wheel off. Okay, so this one came right off. If they stick, just go around on the backside with a rubber mallet or a regular hammer or sledgehammer with a wooden block and tap around the inside of the wheel here, and you should be able to break it loose. Okay, then you need to take your caliper off. There's two mounting bolts. There's one here and one down there. Alright, there's your two mounting bolts out, which were 13mm heads, by the way. And then your caliper, you slide off. If it sticks a little, you just try hitting it with a hammer to help you get it off of there. And you're going to want a brick or a block or something to set this on, because you don't want to hang it from the brake hose or you can damage the brake hose. Okay, that came off pretty easy. Like I said, if they stick, just give a little tap with a hammer till you get it off of there. Okay. Now I'm going to leave this pad on for the moment. We need to push the piston caliper, the caliper piston back in so that we'll have clearance for the new pads so that they'll fit over the rotor. Now if you're doing your rotor too, then your rotor will just come off of here like that. Okay, then you just put your new rotor back on. You get your new rotor. If you get it from the auto parts store, most of them come with packing grease, so you need brake parts cleaner to clean off the rotor. And while you're installing your new parts, including the pads, you want to make sure not to get them dirty, or that'll smear up your new stuff and the car won't stop as well as it could, because you'll have foreign matter in the braking surface. So keep it clean. If you do get it dirty with fingerprints or whatever, just clean it off with a rag and brake parts cleaner. Okay, so you're going to take a C-clamp like this. You're going to put it against the pad and against the back side. There should be a little foot there, but mine's broken. So then you just use this like a vise to push in the piston. Piston's going back in. Ooh. Oh, that's just from the pad sliding against the brackets. Okay, piston is in. So now we can pop the old pad out. Okay. And really this rotor needs replaced for me, but I'm going to order a whole new brake package for it, for all four. It'll be new rotors and pads. But for now, because I need to use this car, we just started grinding there, so the surface isn't completely terrible. It kind of looks like this on the other side. So for now I'm just putting some cheap pads on here, but my rotor does need replaced, but we're skipping that part for now. Okay, like I said, for now we're just doing pads and just on the rear. Here shortly, sometime later this year, I'll have a video doing pads and rotors front and rear, but for now all we're doing is pads. Okay, I'm going to put the new pads in. These little tabs here, you very likely have to pull those up to get the pads in. So if they don't want to go, try pulling up on those. And again, I'm going to try not to touch these and get them dirty, or I'll have to wipe them down. Shit. Okay, to lock in there, I had to pry up on that. Same thing on the other side. Easier said than done. Push that up. There you go. Touch this just for a second. There you go. Just with the tip of my finger. This thing, you're gonna have to fish the wear indicator in first. Okay. There we go. Okay, there's the new pads. Word of caution, make sure this doesn't pop out the back. Mine was actually pushed out the back side. I noticed it was crooked, and it actually popped out too far back there. That would have created a problem. I had to push it back in like that. So beware of that. You're going to cause a real problem. Make sure that it didn't pop out the back. So now we'll just try to feed it over the rotor. Looks like we got plenty of room. You might get hung up on these. None of this will be in the way once we get it on and push the brake a few times and everything aligns itself. There we go. Okay, then I just need to put my mounting bolts back in. Okay, and if you want to put anti-seize on any of the bolts or any of that lubricant they give you for the pads and such, that's on you. Personally, I've never found a need for it, but a lot of people will tell you to use that, and it will help. You know, the next time you do it, it'll help the bolts come out easier, and it'll help your pads function smoother and all that. But I'm not using any of that. That's up to you. So I got my mounting bolts back in. Now I just need to tighten it down. Okay, I got caliper back on, nice and snug down. Now we need to put our wheel back on. Okay, I like to get them snugged down a little bit while they're in the air, and then drop it just enough to put a little bit of weight on this tire, and then we'll start the torque process. Now, most people know to do the crisscross star pattern, but you want to torque it in 3 steps. Technically, you're supposed to use a torque wrench and torque your wheels back on in 3 steps. This ensures that your wheel and your rotor go back on perfectly flush, so that the rotor doesn't wobble and create warped rotor symptoms. So say you're going to torque it to like 90 foot-pounds, which is what I'm going to do. You technically should use a torque wrench and do like 30 foot-pounds, 60 foot-pounds, and then 90 foot-pounds. But if you feel comfortable guessing torque, then you can just use a tire iron for it. So I'm going to lower it a little bit, just get a little weight on it. I don't want to put all the weight on the car on it yet. because I don't want it to pivot the wheel or anything. So I'm going to lower it just enough to put some weight on the tire and start that process. So 30 foot-pounds. $60 foot-pounds. $90 foot-pounds. Final set. All done with the torque. Okay, then, oh shit, let me get my keys. That was a worm on the tire iron. I didn't realize that till I was watching the video clip to make the video. That was a damn worm. It was on the concrete. It was nasty, but I gotta leave that part in. Alright, once you've done both sides, get in, start it. Okay, and your brake pads right now are loose from when you pushed in the piston and give yourself clearance. So if you go and get in the car and drive it right away, your brake pedal is going to be really soft. So what you want to do is just push it down lightly a few times, no more than halfway, and that'll bring those pads to the rotor, and then you'll feel the brake pedal firm up. Okay, I got a normal brake pedal now, and so she's good to go.